Hello crafty friends, I'm Lean from Studio Gato and I'm so happy to be back on my YouTube channel and so glad you're joining me today as well. Today I am sharing a card I made with the Floral Balloon Extravaganza stamp and die set from Alex Syberia Designs. It is part of their new release, and because it's their birthday release, they have a huge giveaway going on. The total of prizes is valued at over $1,000, so be sure to participate. There are tons of links in the description below where you can participate in the blog hub, the YouTube hub, Instagram hubs, all of the things. So check out the description for a chance to win. Now, today I am using this giant balloon and I've stamped it with a pale gray ink because I'm going to emboss this later and I didn't want any black lines I just didn't want to deal with black. So I stamped it in light gray ink and I've stamped it again on a scrap piece of cardstock and I cut out the balloon on that. So I've basically created my own stencil because I am very bad at coloring huge or larger areas with alcohol markers, especially if I want to transition between two different color families. So I wanted my balloon to be an orange and a pink, but with alcohol markers, I would have struggled with it and I probably wouldn't have liked the result. So instead, I played to my strengths and I cut my own stencil from a scrap piece of cardstock and I just ink blended the balloon part. No one is going to know that I did this, that I cheated my way into coloring this balloon. And honestly, it was very fun to do. By doing this, by creating your own stencil, you can also go a lot further than I just did. I just ink blended an ombre effect on this, but you can layer a second stencil on top and stencil a pattern on this balloon as well. That would be super fun too. I just kept it simple because I didn't want to bother with my alcohol markers for this balloon. So yeah, now I just cut out the balloon part because I'm not going to create stencils for those tiny flowers. Instead, I'm again going to play to my own strengths, and which is not cutting out tiny flowers. It is coloring in tiny flowers with my alcohol markers. I'm pretty decent at coloring smaller parts, so why bother creating a stencil for that? This is what I love about card making. It's a look into so many different techniques and so many different mediums, coloring mediums, that you just have a lot to experiment with. And once you've experimented with it, you can just combine everything and play to your own strengths. And you get a lot better results if you do that, trust me. I mean, look at how gorgeous that ink blended balloon is. Not in a million years could I have colored this with alcohol markers. But these tiny, tiny pieces I can definitely do with my Ohuhu markers. Now the lines look pretty pale, but I am going to put this image back in my MISTI soon and stamp over top of it again and emboss it. Before I do that, however, I am going to put this balloon onto a black card base. So I don't want that die cut white margin all the way around it. I want the margin also to be black. So I just use a black alcohol marker to color all the way around my image. I'm covering up some lines, it doesn't matter. I am going to stamp and emboss over this. I'm going to stamp it again with Versamark ink. I had left the stamp in my MISTI when I started this. And I can just sprinkle on some Gold Rich Pale embossing powder from Wow. And this is going to give me a gorgeous gold outline for all of my images. Once that outline is nice and covered, I am going to heat set this with my Wow Jewel Speed Heat tool. And then I'm going to stamp a couple more things and heat emboss those as well. And then I can just clear away all my heat embossing stuff. So this is just a sentiment, celebrate, and a balloon string from that same Floral Balloon Extravaganza stamp set. I'm stamping those on black cardstock, and I am using Versamark ink again. And again, I am going to emboss this with that same Gold Rich Pale from Wow Embossing. Now, I also wanted to mention really quickly, Alex Syberia Designs is a UK-based company, but they are now being sold at scrapbook.com as well. Their products are also available at Simon Says Stamp, so you can definitely find places in the US to find these gorgeous products. And if you're in Europe and you don't want to pay import fees on the Alex Syberia Designs UK store products and shipping, you can also find it at several European retailers too. So you can definitely find Alex Syberia Designs in a shop closer to you if you're not in the UK. Now, I created my own sticky mat. A lot of people already have sticky mats, which is perfect if you do. But if you don't, you can just put a bunch of purple tape on the back of your cardstock. I put 3 pieces of purple tape on the back of it, and then I taped those pieces down on my craft surface. And yeah, it's just a way to tape your cardstock down without having your tape overlapping your cardstock panel. Then I took the Shiny Diamonds stencil from Alex Syberia Designs, which is also part of their new birthday release, and I am using some paste over top of this. I don't use pastes a ton. You can probably see how awkward I am at applying it, but I do love it. I always love it. I always love the look of it, especially this glossy texture paste from Ranger onto black cardstock. It is such a stunning result. Now it looks really bad before it dries because it's like a weird white, sort of transparent white look, but it dries clear, glossy, perfect. It is so stunning in real life. I absolutely love Ranger glossy texture paste on top of black cardstock. So I did that full panel with the Shiny Diamond stencil and the glossy texture paste from Ranger, and I just glued that onto a top folding white note card. I am going to splatter on a little bit of gold paint. This is from Finetech or Coloro. I still don't know what they're actually named. I think they're now called Coloro, but whatever metallic watercolors you have will work. Or even acrylic paint, if you water it down, works perfectly for splatter. I'm going to add some dimension to my die cut pieces. I am gluing a couple of layers of black cardstock behind that sentiment and 1 layer of black cardstock behind the balloon, just so it's a little more sturdy, because I am going to prop this up with foam tape as well. After I've added a little highlight with a white gel pen. But yeah, if you have just 1 layer of cardstock on foam tape, I have found that especially when I mail it to a faraway place, it has those little wrinkles in it when it arrives, when you've adhered it on foam tape. So I try to double up my cardstock when I adhere things with foam tape these days. But I also put a ton of foam tape behind it, so there is not a lot of places where it could like dip and crinkle in the mail. I prop the balloon up. The string is kind of just floating behind the balloon, which is perfect. And then the Celebrate is glued down on top of the balloon. I'm going to finish this off with some glitter drops from Pink Fresh Studio. These are the gold glitter drops, and I'm almost running out. I have never run out of an embellishment before, but these glitter drops, yeah, I use them on every single thing. So this is the finished card, a little bit overexposed because my camera tends to do that, but you can see the picture in a second as well. I really love how this card turned out. I am so happy that I decided to ink blend the balloon instead of bothering with my alcohol markers. So look at your supplies and think about what you can do with them and how you can best use your own skills as a card maker to make the best of your supplies. For me, in this case, that was definitely ink blending, and even though there isn't a coordinating stencil available, you can very easily make your own. Just use an X-Acto knife and a piece of scrap cardstock. That's it. I hope you liked the card. I hope you liked the video. If you did, make sure to leave a thumbs up on this video. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to check out the YouTube hop from Saturday, the blog hop from Thursday, and today there's an Instagram hop. In fact, there will be 2 more Instagram hops. So definitely follow Alex Syberia Designs on Instagram to stay tuned for those as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!